Bess Liscio is one of our retail thinkers from Varejo 180. I know that you have already made a list.
Mm-hmm.
And let's start with what you expect to see after 2 years without safaring, going hunting for stores and nice stuff.
Zach, so great to see you. I'm so delighted to be part of this. I can't believe it's been 2 years where we were go in New York and seeing all new, seeing some retail that was not so good, which was really good to talk about conversation on where they should be. So I'm praying that New York opens up, Brazil opens up, Canada opens up, and we'll see each other again in December. But what a perfect day to do this, because June 17 is today and Google Store opened today. So I love that you already posted about it. I loved that you already commented about it. But I just want to talk a little bit about it. The fact that 2 years ago, it was a pop-up store. It was in Soho. It was a pop-up. Google decided to test a few things. They didn't really market it. It was almost like a tease, and it was almost like influencers were talking on social media, you should go see this store. When we went to see it, it was like a hardware store. It was set up in different rooms. You wanted to try everything. You couldn't really buy anything. You got educated on the product. And then when it was gone, after a month, people were sad. So today's the day where the flagship store opened up. And I find it a very interesting concept, because I don't know if you've seen some of the commercials and videos that they're playing before the store opened, the launch of it. It's very emotional. If you think about the product that Google is offering, it's all about lifestyle. It's a solution item. I need this for my home to be safe. I need this for my home to create memories of photographs. It's almost like you need it for different parts of your lifestyle, travel, home, and work. Not to put down Apple. I'm an Apple geek. I love Apple, but they're very much about innovation, and they're almost forgetting the emotional side. So I think this store is going to have an emotional connection between product and customer. And the fact that I was reading that it's the most LEED certified, sustainability, repurposed, recycled product in their furniture, in their product. They're using local people to make chairs and tables. We can talk about localization so much, Zep, because it's such an important ingredient for retail design in the future. What differentiates you? Did you use your neighborhood skills around you to help launch this product? So I'm super excited to see the new modern rooms, but how they've emotionally connected with product and people. So that's number one on our list.
That's number one. Yes. Do you think, Bess, this strategy of first coming up with a pop-up store and then read the market, understand the mistakes, understand the gaps and the opportunities, are you seeing that happening with different brands?
Very much so. We have a brand. I can't tell you who the brand is. It's a client of ours. We've been together for 4 years. It's a famous Canadian outerwear brand. You can probably guess who that is. They make beautiful stores all around the world. Now they're launching a new product next year. So instead of just putting it in their stores, we're going to do some pop-ups. We're going to do some pop-ups that literally are there for 2 weeks. We're going to do some temporary stores, which are completely different than the word pop-up. Maybe they're there for 3 months. Maybe they have a storefront where the pop-up could be a container. It could be under an escalator in a mall. It could be different places, different spaces. But you realize a lot of things. You're capturing a new market. You're introducing a new product. You're capturing data, like real data, that could be part of the learnings that when you really launch a space and carve it out in the brick and mortar store, that you're carving it out with a success factor already behind you. So yes, we are doing at GH+A Design a lot more pop-ups. And we're doing pop-ups with indie brands. So these are brands that have been born during the pandemic. They've been online business. They really don't want to spend a lot of money on brick and mortar because it's a commitment. So they want to do a pop-up. So again, introducing themselves to the world in a different way. So some brands want to look exactly like their brick and mortar store. Some brands are like, let's not even put the name on our pop-up. Let people come in and be curious on who you are. We'll tell them the name after they buy something. So there's two different ways to do pop-ups. It's become very interesting. And I think the one thing I want to add to Zay is it's not a commitment to custom fixturing. A lot of store fabricators right now are offering flat packed fixtures that pop up into place. You roll them in, graphic communication, painted murals, visual merchandising is really becoming important in pop-ups because it is like an art installation and you can move it or you can leave and it's not a big commitment. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but yes.
No, perfect, because that, I think that's going to be another program, another talk, because we can talk about this difference from pop-ups and temporary stores and some characteristics of both. So, but let's move to the second.
So
number two.
For number two, I have the On. It's a Swiss brand. It's a running shoe brand. So the store is called On Running. It's in Lafayette in Soho. They've been there for about a year. You should look them up. It's a 2-floor store. It's all about technology-driven experience. So it's not a lot of big screens or, a lot of full service. A lot of it is self-service. So if you're a runner, you know this brand, especially if you're an urban runner. So when you walk into the store, you're greeted with this ginormous screen. It makes you feel good. It shows you different scenes where you can run, but there's a purpose to that screen because the running, it's a very long running track where you're running and all the technology is embedded in the ground, in the floor. So it's measuring your shoe size. It's measuring how your hips are running, how your arms are swaying. It measures your whole body. And then at the end, and it's very fast, on the big screen, it tells you what style you are. When you go to the style wall, it's a big shoe of walls. You stand on another technology screen on the floor, and it tells you the exact size you are. This is in seconds. So if you're a size 13 men's, you go to the men's section, size 13. It looks like a flat wall of beautiful running shoes, but the walls open towards you like a filing cabinet, and all the sizes are behind it. So they've taken away a lot of the operational. There's no boxes. You're trying things on right now. So there's a sustainability factor. So it was 2 partners in Switzerland that were runners, and they came up with this idea on few styles, better for running, but technology based. What's beautiful about this store is they have a 3D printed red rock right inside their store. It's huge. And this is the rock in Switzerland where the 2 partners met and came up with a business plan. So they felt like the rock was their foundation. They measured it, they 3D printed it, and it's become an art installation in their store. So again, you and I can talk about how to make stores into art installations, have people come in and linger and educate, learn something. It's not just about selling one thing. It's really is about socialization again after the pandemic.
And you talk about all this technology. It's not a technology that it resumes in itself. It's a technology that works in favor of the shopper because it helps him. It's intuitive. It gives the right path to do the journey. So I remember when we went to see the Puma store. Remember the Puma store?
Perfect, Zach. Perfect
It's
example of
a
missing
lot
the
of
boat.
technology, and where is the soul? Where is the purpose? Where is the brand? I
Yes.
didn't understand why. There's a lot of questions mark all over all over the space. So
Yes.
it was a terrible experience.
I remember when you and I went in and we came out and we looked at each other and we said, so what? Where was the solution for the customer? Everybody's doing customization t-shirts or customization laces. It goes above and beyond. If you are a specialist in running, the consumer wants to know everything, my weight, how my hips move. And so the technology is now a solution. It benefits the customer. So you're right. It's got to be solution-based technology, or else what is it there for?
It's a show off.
It's a show off. You know what, Zach? This pandemic has just opened my eyes to so many things. And I remember when we were in New York 2 years ago, we used the word Instagram moment everywhere. Look at that Instagram moment. Look at that moment. And now it's like, who cares? Now it's like, what's in it for me? What's my solution? Because people have been shopping online for 15 months, almost 2 years. So now when you go in, you have to say, how do you surprise and delight? And what's the solution for me on a human scale?
I need to leave the same process that the internet gave us: fast, easy,
Yes.
intuitive, for now. So the stores, the physical store, the brick and mortar, they need to
Yes.
accompany that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
they need to be fast, relevant, easy to use. Otherwise, it's just another store that's going to close their doors.
Absolutely. And I remember you and I saying the so what factor, and that was a perfect example of a great brand. So looking forward to going to see On Running to technology or a solution coming out of the pandemic. And Brooklyn Dumpling House. The Brooklyn Dumpling House, when you think about that it was a famous restaurant, the Brooklyn Chop House, and how the owner during the pandemic decided to do something totally out of the box thinking, what can I provide to our consumers who are staying home, businesses are closed, and the Brooklyn Dumpling Shop, BDS, was born. Think about how I love, whether you call them vending machines or you call them automated retail. I love what they do and how in the 50s they were really popular, and how he's calling it zero human interaction, open 24/7, on how you can go here, and how he's combined deli with Chinese. So again, taking two cultures, fusing them in this quick and easy way to order, pick up, hot and cold. So when you see a blue light, it's cold. And when you see a hot light, it's hot. And how he's just catered to the taste buds of the community within Brooklyn. I am dying to see this, Zach. I know you are too.
That's what we want. Shop the way we want.
Absolutely. Because time is so important. And we realize that more during the pandemic. We want to spend more time with our family and friends and still have that satisfaction and surprise and delight from retail, for sure.
And right now, sometimes it's hard to make a cluster about the clients and the shopping behavior, because I have many shopping behaviors. So I like to stay a while. I like to go shopping in store, but I love the curbside. I love to buy online and receive it at home. So I have 22 different kind of personalities. So it's getting hard to understand and to put people and the consumers on small clusters, because we are like an octopus.
It's perfect, Zay. You said it beautifully. So it's not just your personality and the time of day and depending what you're buying. It's also the Gen Zs and the millennials and the baby boomers. They're all shopping differently. So how do you cater to everybody? Can you cater to everybody? Should, depending on your brand and what you stand for. What are the values that you stand for? And you got to stick with them for sure.
That's why brands are accelerating their strategies
Yes.
and doing a lot of labs and
Yes.
pop-ups and temporary, because it's hard to find out what
Yep.
it's gonna last. I don't know
Yes.
what's gonna last. No one knows what it's
No
gonna
one
last.
knows.
So let's try.
Yeah.
Let make small mistakes, fast
That's
and
right.
small.
Fast, small, and testing, right? Not big commitments. You're absolutely 100% right.
Number 4.
Number 4. So I struggled with 4 a little bit because first I found, and I'm going to mention it, I found Sour Patch Kids Store. It's a candy. It's very famous in North America, Sour Patch Kids. And they made a store out of it. And I was very curious. So I went online. I went through a fly through. I pretended I was a customer. There's all these different YouTube videos. And I felt like it was the Puma store all over again. There was no storytelling. There was no making of the Sour Patch Kids. I know it's all sugar, but where's the story behind it? So to me, it was like a bulk store with, candy. So I thought, you know what? I'm not going to put that on the list. But the opposite side to that is the Krispy Kreme store on Times Square. So it's what you and I talk about. It's like Puma versus On Running. They're in part of the Nike world. Sour Patch versus this Krispy Kreme experience. And you know what? I have to hand it off to Jay Highland at Shoe Gerdeman. They were the designers. They did a beautiful job designing that space. The touch points are everywhere. The way they even took the coloring of the brand packaging and how they tastefully put it in a space so it's not a Disneyland, it's not thematic, it's almost luxury, it's educational. You can walk through. I mean, they started in North Carolina in 1937. I remember going to their very first store. And when you saw that flashing light that said hot,
Hot on,
that's when you
yes.
bought them. So they brought back the flashing light. Their glazed donut is the legacy donut. You can see the way that's being made. There's a not a drive-through, a walk-up window that only sells glazed in a one little package, 24 hours. So when you're in Times Square at 2 a.m. and you want to have a little bite, you go to the walk-up and it's there for you. But then they also have retail, but good retail. It's not, again, I used to call it juvenile retail. Like, do I want a keychain really with, a donut? But there's T-shirts and there's good bags and there's always this association to New York City. So customizing the retail so it makes it part of the brand of where it lives. They even have a special donut that looks like a red apple because you're in the red apple.
Yes, that's a smart way to customize and to local.
So to me, it's like, and I think the best part was, I remember you and I and the whole team when we were at NRF and we went to see Showfields. It was a disappointment. But when we left and we had coffee and we sat on these bleachers and we were all together, we were drinking a customized fashion coffee with Chanel poured all over the latte. I think that was the best part of the day. Krispy Kreme took their famous box and they opened it. Oh. And there's bleachers for 24 people, which is what the box takes. 24 donuts. That is an Instagram moment. You're part of the box and you can eat it there. Now, I don't know now with the pandemic, but maybe when it opens up. So they injected fun, education, branding, graphic communications beautifully, and with an experience that only for one thing, their legacy donut, the glazed, not everything, but one. And I think they did a beautiful job. Definitely going there. I can't wait to see it in person and to smell. And I didn't even really talk about the wonderful digital outside. they have a huge digital wall outside, which is very Times Square, and they take advantage of it for occasions. So St. Patrick's Day, they have a green, donut. So it's used for marketing, it's used for education. It's really great. I had down here Harry Potter store.
Oh, I heard of that.
It's going to open like in the next couple of weeks. It's 20,000 square feet. It's near the Flatiron District, which I feel is appropriate because the architecture of all those buildings in that area are very conducive to who Harry Potter is. So I shouldn't judge because we haven't been, and you and I are always open to experiencing the space and seeing what good and what opportunities they could have had in there. But I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I've not seen movies or read any books, but just looking online, I'm curious. I'm hoping there's more. When I think about when we went to camp,
Yeah.
we go to camp, you go to this store, and it's an old-fashioned toy store, and then the wall on the back moves, and you enter this space that is a playground where you can try every toy. There's events, you can have birthdays. I didn't see that here. So when you think about Harry Potter and being the magic, and I shouldn't say anything, but maybe I'm hoping the walls open up. I'm hoping that there's things coming out of the ceiling. There needs to be some magic.
I want to see hidden things and
Yes,
secret places
secret.
and
Yes,
small surprising.
absolutely. I think the journey should be exactly that. A lot more surprises. So just seeing it online. I haven't seen anything, but it's on our list, and we're definitely going to go for sure.